everybody. Welcome back to the first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. This is my opportunity to be able to come into your home, answer your questions, and really see what's on the community's mind. We do this every Saturday and Sunday, getting to about 10 to 12 questions every single weekend. Today's first question is from Sarah. Sarah says, "Hi, Dr. Ball. Thank you for your content and taking the time to answer my question. I've noticed improvements in my health with doing your detox and following the advice and protocols you give. My question is about rosacea and any thought or tips to get rid of it. I haven't always had it. It popped up about 8 years ago. My lead level was high on my HTMA, but I detoxed and got that level down to a safe range. I've tried eliminating all sensitivities that were on my test, tried doing the parasupport and working on my gut quite a bit. I've done your detox a few times. I have tried red light with infrared and without infrared. With infrared seems to make it worse. I have seen other improvements with my health in these interventions, but I'm wondering what I could be missing." Okay, so yeah, happy to help here. And one of the interesting things about rosacea is that we oftentimes look at it as an inflammatory issue, but oftentimes combined as a fungal and gut-based issue as well. So what I would say to you, because I haven't heard yet, you've eliminated food sensitivities and you've really gotten down your heavy metals, which is amazing. You've done a great job. But have you looked at your Candida metabolic and vitamins test yet? Is there any fungal-based overgrowth, or are you being exposed to any mold? So although it's great to run the mold mycotoxins test as well, if you can only run one, I would run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. And that's going to allow you to see if there is any fungal overgrowth and whether you should use the CBO protocol with the citracidal drops and then the CBO finisher once you're done to heal and seal the gut wall. If that is what you're missing, that could be what you're looking for, and that is a big recommendation. Now, I will say other food sensitivities that can be triggers are things like eggs, gluten, and chocolate, even if they don't show high on a food sensitivity test. Because remember, there can be different reactions from different perspectives, not just an IgG one. So hopefully that's a good place to start. And then, of course, right back in, let us know how it worked or if you have any additional questions. And I have to give you my disclaimer, of course, that I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis for anybody. All right, here we go. Elazar is up next. "Hi there, Dr. Ball. I am now a 21-year-old male, but last year, when I was barely 20 years old, I got a viral infection. I'm not sure what virus it was, but at the time it seemed like any regular viral infection, which everyone gets at least once a year. Around 1 week later, I started to develop POTS and it hasn't gone away. What do you think could have caused it? I've done my own research and it seems like an autoimmune issue since it happened after a virus. Also 7 months prior, I was dealing with a lot of stomach issues, especially nausea, after eating literally most foods. If you have any info on this, it would help. Thank you." Yeah, happy to help on this. So something similar happened to me as well. When I was 17 years old, I got obviously very, very sick. Now, I had Candida overgrowth. I had H. pylori. I had lots of stress. I had leaky gut. So there's a lot of issues. But I also got Epstein-Barr virus. And so what happens after that? All right, well, in some individuals like myself, you get post-viral inflammatory syndrome, right? So some people then call it long COVID. If it's not COVID, it's any other virus. This can happen with any virus. So that might have been what happened to you as well. This can then cause POTS. And so when you look at POTS, it is an imbalance in certain electrolytes, but it's also an imbalance in the autonomic nervous system. So it's called autonomic nervous system dysfunction or autonomic nervous system dysregulation. So, or dysautonomia. So dysautonomia, apologies. So if you want to look up on my podcast or even just ask if you want at cabralsupportgroup.com, we'll find the shows for you. Like we really will. So just always feel free to ask because dysautonomia is what a lot of people are dealing with. And I have a bunch of shows on it. And so what we need to do is, okay, let's look for the underlying root cause. Now, I know that, at 21 years old, you might not always be able to afford to do at-home lab testing, but right around your age, just a little bit before, I ran what would be the equivalent to the starter kit, which is the minerals and metals test plus the Candida metabolic and vitamins test. I highly recommend going that route if you're able to. It's just at stephencabral.com/starter-kit, or you can just go to stephencabral.com/shop. Type in vitamin tox test or starter kit, takes you to the same place, and you'll be be able to find that. We want to actually look at the overall autonomic nervous system. And so again, of course, if you can run the big five, you want to run the big five, you'll save yourself a lot of headaches. But if not, that's at least the best place to get started to see what mineral deficiencies you might be dealing with and what gut-based issues there may be as well. And again, if you don't want to run any lab tests, I have tons of free shows on post-viral inflammatory syndrome at stephencabral.com/podcast as well. All right, Anne's up next. I just listen to your coffee podcasts. I listen every day while I do my exercise. I'm 70, 4'11", active, 100 pounds, and discovered you about 18 months ago. I'm hooked. I'm happy to hear that, Anne. I like my coffee first thing in the morning while I do my Bible readings and meditation. I never had an issue, but then you mentioned it could relate to thyroid issues, which I have, hypothyroidism. But I drink my coffee fairly weak. 1 tablespoon and a large cup and only 1 cup a day. I put in a scoop of collagen and 1 teaspoon of raw honey, sometimes manuka, and a dash of salt. Does that make drinking coffee less harmful first thing in the morning? Also, have you done any research on using hydrogen water for drops in eyes for dry eyes? I'm not going to list your name, which you put in there, so we'll just take that out. P.S. I did the big five and still working on it. All right. So yes, I mean, the big five is always the answer. I mean, it always is. But of course, I'm not just going to say big five every time someone writes in. And the reason is that it's the way that you're able to see, right? It's like, so you're able to look for, okay, what do the adrenals say? Meaning the HPA axis. What does the HPT axis say? Your thyroid. What is your progesterone and estrogen levels like? So we look at all of those things. All right. But do I think it's an issue for you? I'm going to give you an even simpler way to look at this because people have their rituals and I totally get it. 2 things you can do. One, if we just want to take it out of the equation, each morning you could have a cup of just decaf coffee with your collagen and your raw honey. Okay, mix that up and enjoy it. You won't know the difference taste-wise. Like you really won't. Like the decaf coffee now, the organic Swiss water process, mold-free, you really won't notice the difference. And then after your breakfast, maybe then you have a cup of regular coffee. Like you can do that. Okay, that kind of solves everything. But let's just say you want to stick with the routine you have now. No problem at all. You make the coffee just how you've had it. What I want you to do is I want you to measure. I want you to look at your heart rate as you're seated before you consume your coffee. Then 20 to 30 minutes later, I want you to look at your same heart rate. If it's elevated, at least by 3 to 5 beats, you know that there is a push towards sympathetic nervous system dominance. So you get more of what's called a norepinephrine to epinephrine spike from the caffeine. So that's an easy way to look at it for a lot of people. You're putting some protein in there, you're putting some carbs in there. So that kind of blunts some of the effect of the caffeine because you're actually adding some glucose to your system. So that can be better for the nervous system, but all right, I want you to take a look at that. And then, so 2 options there. And then yes, hydrogen water drops in the eyes can be beneficial. So there's no doubt about that. You're actually getting the electron donors right inside of the eye for people that need it. So it can actually be pretty powerful. Again, I can't give any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, but many people do that with great success. All right, Anonymous is up next. Anonymous says, hi, Dr. Rawl. I have a friend who's 2.5-year-old has always struggled to nap or sleep regularly. They've tried Epsom salts. They don't let him watch TV much at all, especially from afternoon on. She's part of this community and follows your protocols, even with her son. Eat clean and very little gluten, dairy, etc. Use clean products for laundry, bathing, etc. The only thing I've thought about is EMFs. They have a lot of Wi-Fi throughout the home, Google controlled lights, etc. And they work from home with lots of monitors, etc. I know you talked about EMFs in the past, suggest EMF meters in products such as Somavedic. Would you recommend that for a toddler's room? They have a baby monitor and wireless sound machine in the room. Other recommendations? Thank you. Okay. Yeah, happy to help with this. So 2.5-year-old and struggled to sleep regularly. Yeah, so that's not normal, right, for a 2.5-year-old. So we want to work on this. Couple simple things is to make sure that there's balanced blood sugar regulation. So we just want to make sure at least at breakfast, lunch, and dinner that there's proper protein at all 3 of those meals. So there's not highs and lows. And then there won't be highs and lows then in adrenal hormones such as adrenaline that we just spoke about, norepinephrine, and then also cortisol as well. We want to make sure that we have balanced carbs, protein, and fats at dinner. That'll allow for a better night's sleep because you'll get better production of serotonin and GABA and less cortisol if we make sure that we get good carbs at dinner. The next thing, just like you said, we want to read before bed. We want to put on a salt lamp or something with an amber light an hour or so before bed. We want the kids to be able to have their wind down time. Some children do amazingly well with a weighted blanket, and I might suggest a weighted blanket, what can actually increase GABA, the anti-anxiety hormone, and that can be quite beneficial. For some kids, we use a little bit of liquid melatonin, just about 1/4 of a dropper, and we use that for anywhere between 1 and 2 weeks, and then we simply wean down so that they're getting essentially a drop less per night, and so then it's completely out of their system. They no longer need it after about 2 weeks. Once they settle into a sleep schedule, they want to go to bed within 30 minutes of the same time each and every night. Keep all of the monitors at least 6 feet away from the children. Yeah, all of that can be helpful. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. And then all my resources for weighted blankets, some actually have the EMF blocking because they have silver threads in them. The one by Therasage that we recommend has that. One of my daughters actually sleeps with that. She does really well with that. All right. Jen is up next. And Jen says, what are your thoughts on weighted vests, particularly for perimenopausal and menopausal women? I've seen many people talking about this for help with bone density. Yeah. So I'm actually I'm an advocate of weighted vests. Always have been. Always used them back in the day when they were super cheap and falling apart and all that to now. So what I don't love is people doing a lot of plyometric work in weighted vests. What do I most prefer it for? Well, it's a really balanced way to be able to do step ups and squats and lunges and all sorts of exercise like that as a beginner body weight. I think it's tremendous. I also really like it for walking and incline walking as well, as long as you're focused on posture and keeping your core strong. So I'm a big fan of that, and it will definitely help more with bone density, especially with those incline walks. And then again, your regular exercises as well. So no, I'm a fan without a doubt. I don't know if I've made any recommendations lately, but if I have, all of them are under the exercise section at stephencabral.com/resources. If I haven't, I'll definitely get on that and I'll give you some of my recommendations that I use as well. So yeah, really great questions today. I'm going to be back tomorrow answering more from our community. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can write in your own question at stephencabral.com/askcabral. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll talk with you tomorrow. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.